say that you should have at least, if you are not currently meeting with a buyer who's ready to buy and you don't have one that you need to be following up on, then first of all, if you do have one, I would do everything you can to get that nailed down and get that appointment to happen now. That would be my first priority. Second priority would be going after realtors and nailing down so many appointments that my week is completely filled up. I would literally spend every waking moment calling realtors until you get that pipeline filled up. Because what's going to happen is you're going to find the realtor who likes you and brings you a client, and then you're going to be in the middle of trying to take that next client to contract. And then you're going to find 9 realtors who don't have a client right now, but they might have a client in the future. And then you're going to keep going and you're going to go through another 10 and you're going to find 1 who has a client for you and then 9 who don't. And then you're going to go through 10 more and you're going to find 1 who has 3 clients for you. And you're going to find 1 who would love to invite you to their team meeting and get you in front of their whole team of realtors. Right? First, we plant the seeds. If you don't have an apple tree in your backyard, you cannot pick the fruit from the apple tree. You don't have any apples. So if you don't have the apple tree, then you got to plant the seed and start watering it and let it grow. And then eventually you'll have apples to pick from. Right? That's how this business is. As you grow your pipeline, your income grows. But Ashley, it can also grow quickly. It doesn't have to take 4 years to grow a pipeline. How long have you been doing this?
6 months.
Is it producing already?
It is.
But you've been very diligent to do the things I tell you to do, and so you've gotten to bear some fruit. You planted the seeds, you've watered them, and it's starting to produce a harvest, right? Pretty quickly.
Yes.
The level of activity that you generate will dictate, how many seeds you plant will dictate how many apple trees come up, right? It's 100% up to you. It's not up to me. I can tell you all the things to do, but it's up to you to actually schedule out your time and go do it and to be diligent to it. I'll give you some quotations. Proverbs 10:4. You should write it down. Proverbs 10:4. The hand of the diligent prospers, but the sluggard not so. Steve Currington actually has this tattooed on his arm, by the way. Did you know that?
I just knew you had Steve Currington tattooed on his arms. I didn't know there was anything else.
He also has that. I'm not saying to make Steve Currington a role model for life decisions. I'm just saying, probably not. But he who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Spoken of by Solomon, who was the most wealthy man who's ever lived and also the wisest man who's ever lived. So he who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. There are greater and lesser degrees of diligence. Would you agree with that or disagree with that?
Agree.
I have known a man named Clay Clark who is the world's most diligent man as far as I know. I've never met a man more diligent than Clay Clark. This guy gets up at 3 a.m. every day, starts working at 4, and he doesn't quit until about 6 or 7 p.m., 6 days a week. He also owns 16 multi-million-dollar companies. But he didn't start there. He grew up super poor and had nothing. But he's so diligent that, he's just had great success. So there are varying degrees of diligence. I also know a guy that I went to high school with who has never gotten off of his butt his entire life, and he's still on food stamps. Even though he's a pretty intelligent guy, he's really never amounted to anything. So there's varying degrees of diligence. By the way, you guys, what do you think this sticker on the ground in a parking spot means?
Parking for pregnant women.
It's actually parking for people who twerk at barbecues.
I see that now.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
You're like, I can't unsee that, Aaron. Thank you very much for that picture. And then I also had this. Unfortunately, recently my tire was slashed. Okay. I tried with a more visual dad joke this time. I was trying something new. Apparently that's not working for you guys. That's fine.
For Christmas, I bought my son a box of dad jokes,
Oh, nice.
and he read a couple of them, and I was like, sounds like Aaron. He's going to start incorporating them into his meetings.
Nice.
I'm sure everybody will be very excited about that.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be just thrilled about that for
He's
sure.
right up the ladder.
Nice. So I would just encourage you guys to ratchet up the level of diligence. The most successful people have a calendar that they follow strictly and a to-do list. Writing out a calendar and following it where you have scheduled the things that make you successful, and then having a to-do list, that is like the steering wheel of life that keeps people on pace. I live my life diligently by a calendar. I live my life diligently by a to-do list. And I have been very diligent, and therefore I've had great success. And I did not come up with these ideas. I was taught these things by other people that had the fruit on the tree that I wanted. They were successful, and I followed after. Success always leaves clues. Have you ever heard that statement? Success always leaves clues behind. A lot of people meet somebody who's successful and they say, well, you just had all the benefits. You had the lucky breaks. You were smarter than other people. You had a leg up on other people. Well, I grew up dirt poor. We literally didn't have enough food to be able to feed our family week to week. That's the household I grew up in. We were very poor. I had nothing when I left my parents' house. But I've also found that, I paid attention to people who were successful and they leave clues behind. And one of the clues was live your life by a calendar and have a to-do list. Those two things are game changers. So I literally have a calendar of everything I'm going to do all day today, and I have a to-do list. And if you follow those two things, right? And that's basically what this is. This is a calendar that also incorporates in a to-do list.
I got a calendar for Christmas.
There you go.
Must have been a hint.
Ah, nice. I like it. But let's start working towards those goals. I think this is a great, kind of idea. This will give you a good idea of how to set those goals and start aligning yourself for going after them. Realtor calls are going to be a huge part of your success, Sandy.
Mhm.
Realtor appointments, right? With realtor calls. Same thing for you, Ashley. Ashley's already kind of gotten her pipeline started, and Sandy, you got to get yours going. It will pay you, I promise. And the richness of the other way it pays you is you make friends along the way, which is great. That's the fun part of it. Like I still, to this day, know many people from the business that I have great relationships with and will for many years to come because of this. So, all right, guys, I got to jump into the next thing because my calendar says I have another appointment, but I appreciate you guys. If you need anything from me between now and next time, holler. Okay.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
day.
Y'all, see you.
Okay.